shore, 5 minutes. Small shore, going shore.
Hi, my name is William Bracco. I am the Regimental Executive Officer, but I will be acting as the Regimental Commander on cruise. As Regimental Commander, I am in charge of overseeing the general operations of the regiment during the cruise experience. If I could give any advice to students who will be cruising this summer, it's to get the most out of the experience. We're going to go to some really amazing ports, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Currently, I'm a junior at MMA. I've been here for 3 years. I am in the MTO department, which is Marine Transportation Operations. I chose this major because I've always wanted to have a career on the water, and I really enjoy the navigation side of things. I chose to come to Maine Maritime Academy because I really like the small campus, the large amounts of hand-on experience that you get. It's a really friendly, really amazing, environment here. You just get so much hands-on experience, and they're really preparing you for the industry. I'd like to gain the knowledge and experience necessary to enter the industry as a third mate, as my next ship will probably be in the industry. I grew up in a small town in Brantford, Florida, on the Swanee River. The reason I chose to come to Maine Maritime is first that there are no maritime colleges in Florida, and out of all the other maritime colleges that are available, I really enjoyed Maine's small campus, the amount of hands-on experience that you get here, and Maine Maritime Academy's reputation as one of the best maritime academies in the nation. I also chose to come here because I love Maine. I love being up here, even though it gets a little bit colder in the winters. There's just so much to do, and it's really a great place to go to school. Here we're on the bridge of the state of Maine. This is where navigation of the vessel takes place. Here we have the steering stand. This is where the helmsman actually steers the vessel. He has the magnetic compass as well as gyro compass to aid him in steering the vessel. We have controls for the throttle, alarms for all systems on board, and units to control the radar and ECDIS, which is electronic chart display systems. I really knew from the start that I wanted to do something on the water. I wanted to work on the water, but I didn't know that there were actual schools that you could go to and you could earn a degree to do this.
My name is Jerry Paul. I'm the 15th president of Maine Maritime Academy. I'm a 1989 alumni, graduate of Maine Maritime. It's just such a wonderful joy to return to the campus and to the training ship State of Maine. This training ship is the showpiece of our 60 vessel fleet here on the waterfront. Its sheer size symbolizes the magnitude of the MMA experience. Our students, through a course of a 4-year discipline here, earn a world-class education, and they also see the world. We're very proud of the opportunity that we're able to give young men and women throughout Maine and the United States and throughout the world. And it's certainly a joy and a pleasure to be able to extend and project the curriculum and the MMA experience internationally by way of this vessel. It is also a great honor for Maine Maritime Academy to promote the maritime interests of the United States of America, including its national security and its marine sciences. Through this extraordinary experience and the top-of-the-line crew and officers of Maine Maritime Academy, we look forward to a safe and adventurous cruise. As an alumni of Maine Maritime Academy and its incoming president, it's a great joy and an honor to be joining the training ship State of Maine for initial legs of this cruise. It is indeed the first time that I've been aboard our training ship since 1989. I have wonderful experiences from those training cruises, and I am confident that the experiences that our Maine Maritime Academy students enjoy today are every bit as fruitful, and now I look forward to sharing in those with them so many years later.
Hi, my name is Logan Ekman. I'll be sailing as the Cadet Chief Engineer on this summer's training cruise. My role is more of a oversight role, I suppose. The rest of the assistant engineers have daily rounds and jobs that are a bit more specific. I will definitely be tagging along with everybody, seeing what it is they do and try and get to be the best that I can be at each of their jobs as well, because a lot of it's what we're going to be doing once we actually graduate and we get that third assistant engineer license to actually go out and work. I'm from Dedham, Maine, right up the road. I went to John Bass Memorial High School, and I chose MMA mostly because it was close. I had a friend's father who worked here, and he mentioned it to me a few times, and I didn't give it much thought until I came here. And listening to what the professors had to say about kind of this mixed education. I'm in the Marine Systems Engineering 5-year program, so for me it's a little bit more math, physics, science intensive, and I really enjoy that. With the 5-year program, I'm going to graduate with that third Engineers Unlimited license, and so I get this mixture of a difficult academic life as well as what I'm actually interested in, which is living, working, operating on ships, learning how everything works. That's what drives me is an appreciation for all the designs we've got behind us in the engine room. As for cruise, as a freshman, I really enjoyed it. You know, you're in a berthing most likely with 26 other people, packed in real tight, but you come away with a lot of stories, a lot of good times, some great conversations, and you get to know your fellow classmates really well. I am really excited to get off the ship on this cruise, though, be able to, I guess, have something to look forward to. We'll definitely break up the time because we're out for 60 days, which sounds like a lot, but again, when you're with your friends and you've got places to go to, leaving the country, this will be my first time leaving the U.S. I don't expect that it'll be very difficult. I think it'll fly by. So after school, I'm a little bit torn. So I came here originally wanting to work in a shipyard, and I would be able to do that with my Marine Systems Engineering degree. However, I really enjoyed my time both on the training ship as well as cadet shipping, working on a ship. You get to do a lot more of the applied work and troubleshooting, which is, it seems like there's always a problem that you can fix, and working through eliminating things that you think could be causing the problem. It's very rewarding, and I don't think there's not much like that, in my opinion, with more of like a shoreside design job, which makes me think that I'm going to go towards the sea. So with cruise, it can be intimidating, especially as a freshman. There's a lot that you're going to be going into, a lot that maybe you feel like you're not prepared for. But we've worked through this entire semester with a pre-cruise course that we've developed, me along with the other shipmates on the engine side. And then the deck side of things has also put together a program. And it's training to get the freshmen familiar with the ship, familiar with the systems on the ship, to know their roles, their responsibilities, to know how to act in an emergency so that they will be prepared for that first step onto the ship. There's going to be a huge learning curve, obviously. And once you're actually in the moment, actually doing things, it can be intimidating sometimes, but everybody's been there before. We've worked very hard to prepare everybody, and we will continue to work hard to I guess, keep everybody on the right page, being safe and also learning as much as they can. So don't be intimidated. A lot of the stuff, the aspects of life after this school and even at this school can be intimidating. I know the very first thing that I heard was about the regiment and waking up for 7 a.m. every morning. And that was something that I never thought I would do. And here I am after 3 years doing it almost every day. If you're interested in engineering, applied engineering, there are shoreside opportunities here as well, but being on the ship, I think, is one of the real gems of this school and the opportunities that it provides. The experiences that I had, I absolutely could not have had anywhere else. The leadership opportunities are another thing. I'm lucky enough to be leading a team of awesome, amazingly smart, qualified people for this cruise, and I don't think you really get that opportunity in many other places. The real world leadership experiences and training, I don't think it's really comparable. So absolutely yes, I'm very happy that I came here, and I wouldn't have liked to go anywhere else.
My name's Colin Berry. I'm a junior here. It's my third year. We're getting ready to go on our junior cruise. My leadership positions, I'm the Regimental Senior Striker. I'm also the Cadet Second Assistant Engineer. I've always been really involved with the engineering program here. And one thing I definitely would recommend to students is that you really get into breaking apart all the different machinery down here. I'm really expecting to get a lot out of this cruise. I think now that we're juniors and we're more of a leadership role, it's going to be better for us because we're going to get to pass some of the knowledge that we've collected along the way. So I'm originally from Connecticut. My dad is an alumni. He graduated in the class of '89. So that's how I've always really known. I've come here, visited as a kid. I've always really known what this academy is. And I've always had an interest in engineering. So that's really what led me to end up here, and I really like my major, and it's really, I think it's really interesting. A little bit of an older ship, but I think that's better in most ways for us, because there's definitely a lot of things that need to be fixed, or a lot of things that require some maintenance, so it's a lot of good learning opportunities. I know the new ship is going to be very cool with some of the engineering and the machinery that it has on board being diesel electric. It's much bigger as well, so I think there's going to be a lot of good opportunities going forward for this academy in the future. But for somebody who might be a little apprehensive of going out to sea or being on a ship in the middle of the ocean, it definitely is something that you get used to, or it takes time getting used to, but it's not that bad, especially when you're with all your friends. And in some ways, I do like it better than the regular semester here at MMA, just because you're with all your friends and you have stuff to do. You have watches, maintenance, training days. You're learning a lot. You get to see cool places, go to cool ports. You can spend some time out on deck. It is a fun time. If you're worried about being seasick, I wouldn't be too worried about that. That's something you just get used to. this is just this is the end of the shaft before it exits through the hull, and the propeller is right on the outside there. So this is the stern tube. It's the only thing keeping the seawater out of the ship from where the shaft goes through. And then when we're on cruise, it's actually really cool when you're on watch being down here and then seeing this shaft spin. I know your whole freshman year when you do watches, you come down, you do these rounds, but you never see the stuff actually moving. So once you get on cruise, it's really cool to see this massive machinery actually moving. You're like, oh, so it does actually do something. Yeah, this is super cool to see spinning when you come down on watch. Sometimes you see people and you can actually watch the shaft spin. I've always thought that was a pretty cool part on cruise, is being able to see this actually move. And then this is one of our sewage treatment piece of machinery here on the ship. It's called our MSD, Marine Septic Disposal.
All this is fuel transfer. So we're able to pull from storage tanks, put them into settling tanks, which will then make the fuel make its way to day tanks. And at that point, that's where we would pull to the engine. It sounds like a pretty complicated system, but it's that way so that we can ensure that the fuel is clean, there's not going to be contaminants making its way to the engine and potentially cause damage. This was particularly useful a few years ago when the ship used to run what's called HFO, which is heavy fuel oil. We now just run DFM, which is diesel fuel marine, and so which is a much more clean fuel. There's less contaminants. It's also a lot easier to work with. You don't have to heat it up before you bring it to the engine. So yeah, all of this is just to move the fuel around from one place to another.
We can go up a deck and try and find a room that we'll be staying in.
Yeah.
So this is the general size room that you can expect to have on your junior cruise. There'll be 2 of us per room, and 4 of us sharing a restroom here. Very small, very just the bare essentials. We've got a sink over here, and then for between the 2 of us, we've got enough storage just to keep, again, just the essentials. We're going to be wearing pretty much the same thing, same uniform every day on the ship. And when we get off the ship, we don't need very much for clothes, a pair of shorts, a couple t-shirts, and so we're able to travel relatively light. And yeah, so believe it or not, this is pretty spacious.
This is one of the mess decks here on cruise. This is actually, we call this the forward mess. This is where most of the professors and the ship's crew will eat. Students can eat here as well, but this is kept more of a formal mess deck. So if you do want to eat here, you have to be in your khaki uniform. The other mess we have is the aft mess, and that's just a general purpose student mess. This is the watch mess, so when you're on one of your duties while you're on the ship as a student is you have to stay on watch. Watch can be anytime. You could be up at 4 in the morning, or you could be up at 4 in the afternoon. But while you're on watch, you have access to this mess, and there's usually stuff to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or fluff and butter sandwiches, and you can stop in here and get some food while you're on cruise.
So while on cruise, there's 4 different days that we'll have. We've got a mix of utility days, maintenance days, days where we're on watch, and then we also have training days. So training days is more of a classroom sit down. For us as juniors, it'll be a lot more applied stuff. We'll be actually operating in the engine room, looking at equipment, and preparing for our Coast Guard exams, which we'll have to take and pass to be licensed with our 3rd engineer's unlimited license. There's also utility days where it's general ship cleaning. You'll also be in the scullery washing dishes, and then there's also SRC, which is where you sort through trash, which sounds bad. However, there's a preliminary sorting up before that. So what you're ultimately doing is going through food and making sure that we don't throw any plastic, paper, any utensils, plates, cups, anything like that overboard. Only food is what's allowed to go over. Then you've got watch days where you are on watch at 4 hours at a time. There's 3 rotations, so every 8 hours you'll have watch, which pretty much ends up being that you have 8 hours where you would typically sleep, and then 8 hours where you could where you would be up in the day, so you get to take in the views. Then lastly, we have maintenance. Maintenance days are where you'll be working with the ship's engineers and actually going around and fixing things. So people on watch are there to, I guess, make sure that the plant, the heart of the ship is running well and operating smoothly. And maintenance is for anything that goes wrong, fixing, small stuff like changing a light bulb, could be big stuff like somebody's sink isn't draining, or hey, there's a leak. So maintenance is where you kind of tackle those big issues and do your best to fix them. But that's the typical progression for us while we're at sea. The days go from right around 8 in the morning to right around 1600, and there's pretty decent sized lunch break in between. But you have to be up for 7 a.m. muster, and that's even more important at sea, so we can make sure that everybody's actually on the ship still. We make sure that nobody's hurt. We didn't lose anybody. Yeah, it's a big safety concern, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not include that part, but.
I'm Captain John Cashman, Commandant of Midshipmen here at Maine Maritime Academy. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our cruise as we board the vessel and get ready to depart from Castine. So sailing with us will be 222 individuals, including 176 cadets. These cadets are 100 or so from the freshman class, and the rest are upper class students that are sailing in their final cruise here at Maine Maritime Academy. This gives those upper class students an opportunity to really fulfill a supervisory role as they teach the newest Maine Maritime Academy students about life at sea, learn their roles and responsibilities, and overall just simply enjoy their opportunities to be with us. But I want to tell you a bit more about others that'll be aboard. As I mentioned, 222 total. That includes 46 employees. Encompasses permanent ship's crew, temporary ship's crew, commandant staff, faculty, and TSSOM staff. To give an idea of how much alumni give back, I want to highlight 4 particular individuals. On our temporary crew, we have Pete Johnson. Pete Johnson has spent the majority of his career as an accountant, but maintained his license as an engineer and has sailed all over the world with Mercy ships, and has spent the last couple of years coming back here to Castine to sail with us. So it's tremendous to have Pete and his experience with us. Another one is Elish Higgins. Elish is another Maine Maritime Academy graduate, has over 3 decades of experience sailing all across the world, returns as a licensed master to lead our newest midshipmen throughout this cruise. So In addition to the two of them, we have other alumni that are recent graduates. One is Owen McLean, a 2021 graduate and a strategic sea lift officer with the U.S. Navy Reserve. Owen joins us for half of this cruise to again give back to the students that he knew amongst the hallways here. And Ryan Armstrong. Ryan Armstrong is a 2014 graduate, was also a member of the Board of Trustees, a student member while he was at Maine Maritime Academy, and Ryan returns for his second summer cruising with us. Just gives you an idea of the different experience levels, the different ways that we provide the best environment for our students. As you may be aware, we've got some great port calls coming up. We'll depart Castine, head down to Charleston, South Carolina, spend a couple days in Charleston, then head out to Bermuda. From Bermuda, we'll cut across the Atlantic Ocean for a few days in Ponta Delgado and the Azores. Then we'll head north to Reykjavik, Iceland, and return to Portland, Maine, where we'll have our final port call before Indian and cruise back in Castine. Our final day on board will be June 24th, but we look forward to entering Castine Harbor on June 22nd. I'll tell you a little bit about the day in the life of a cadet on board the training ship. All students, again, those 176, are separated into 4 companies, similar to the companies that we have in our regimental structure ashore, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. Each day, each company is assigned to one significant task. One company will have watch standers. Each will have 4 hours of watch every 8 hours, so they'll stand a total of 8 hours in a 24-hour period. And these are watches that happen day and night, so the students get used to the change in dynamics between standing at a mid-watch from midnight to 4 in the morning or being up in the middle of the day. Another company will have maintenance. The maintenance, whether it's deck or engine, are learning from the ship's officers and crew as to how to keep the ship operating smoothly. They might be handling emergent issues if a pipe should spring a leak, or if there's a trouble with electricity in one of the berthing areas, or another maintenance task. That'll be what they focus on for the day. Otherwise, it could be a project that's been waiting for the right opportunity and the right motivated students to handle. A lot of chipping and painting, keeping the ship operating well and looking good. And for our machinery, a lot of preventative maintenance, making sure that equipment's not going to fail at the wrong time. So this hands-on learning for our students helps them to appreciate the amount of work that is required, but as they move along their career and become more of a supervisor, they'll understand the details of the task that they're asking others to do for them. So we have watch company and maintenance company. The next one is training company. We have 12 faculty that have decided to spend their summers with us to bring the information from the classroom to life here on board our training ship. So the 4 deck training officers and 8 engine training officers spend days in the classroom and out and about the ship demonstrating to the students the practical understanding of what they're learning from the books. So those students that are in training company will spend the majority of the workday in the classroom with the training officers. And then the last company is called utility company. Some members of the utility company will help out our galley staff. Galley staff turns out 3 outstanding meals a day. They begin at 4 in the morning prepping food and go right through final cleanups around 9, 10 o'clock, 21 or 2200 in the evening. So we have several students that will assist with the food service as well as the cleanup afterwards and maintaining the quality around the mess decks. The other members of utility will assist our galley staff with serving the food, cleaning up, and then handling all of the trash that is produced following each meal. Other members of utility may be assigned a different project to either clean an area or improve it. Last cruise, we had a number of them that were assisting with our morale events, and we brought a couple of ping pong tables on board and other games that they set up for us and make sure they were maintained. So utility can be just that, much like a utility batter in baseball. They call it upon whenever they're needed, but it's a great chance to have a group with a project, learn to supervise each other, and carry that project on through completion. When we do go into ports, each student has an opportunity to disembark the ship, to go see the sights, get to experience local culture. Altogether, though, it's a great training opportunity. Very few other schools have the opportunity to take this many students out to sea, and one hands-on training environment. When we're in Charleston, we anticipate an opportunity for local high school students to come visit the ship, especially those interested in Maine Maritime Academy, or anyone who's curious and might open their eyes to the opportunities that we have up here. We'll have an alumni event at the Charleston River Dogs baseball game where students, crew and faculty will get to join in with alumni in the area. So we're looking forward to it. In Bermuda, we're going to be at the dockyard, northern part of the island. A lot of opportunities to really explore that tropical island and embrace the culture of it. In Punta Delgada, we're looking at a number of different excursions, beautiful terrain, great for hiking. There's an opportunity for a Land Rover tour, a guided tour with 6 passengers per truck. We're excited for that chance for the students and the employees to get out and explore. We get up to Iceland, of course, the hot springs are one of the highlights. The Icelandic horses are another highlight for people to see, but another country where just the vast beauty of the landscape is awe-inspiring. So that's the love of the career, of the life at sea that we hope all the students to really embrace and enjoy throughout their lives, regardless of what profession they finally choose.
So on cruise, as part of some of our duties as a student, we have to take temperatures and pressures of a lot of the different systems on the ship. I think it's really good repetition-wise for freshmen. They get used to knowing where different machinery is, knowing what their operation should be like. It's a lot of good experience. They do spend a lot of time down in the engine room if you are an engineer, and it's preparing you for seeing what it is like out in the industry. So this is the engine operation station. You can control a lot of the major systems aboard the ship from here. You can see a lot of the readouts from our main propulsion, like our engine, everything that has to do with our shafting to our propeller. You can even control propulsion from here when it's in the engine room control location. We do teach the freshmen a lot about this room and a lot of the systems that you can control here, a lot of the electrical. And you can also monitor all the other auxiliary systems as well on these view screens.
So here in EOS, this is the main station for us as operators. The most valuable thing is an overall monitoring of all the systems, and we get readouts on these screens. On the bottom of them is where we get our alarms, and that's what alerts us to potential issues. So in addition to us making rounds in the engine room and putting our eyes on all the pressures, temperatures, operation status of everything, we have extra safety nets just to make sure that everything's operating properly.
Here you can see a lot of the readouts from the generators we have on board the ship. We need to produce power, obviously, for the electrical equipment we have. This is one of the things that we do learn about here. All the different, the minor and the major things for electrical generation.
Captain Gordon MacArthur. I'm the master of the training ship state of Maine, and I'm a 2000 alum from Maine Maritime Academy. I started this job about a year ago in early 2021 and made 3 cruises on board State of Maine as master last year. Cruise 22 is a little bit different than last year's experience. This is a full training cruise, somewhat back to normal after the pandemic, and we actually get to hit some foreign ports this time, which is something we were unable to do last year. We have a great cruise planned with stops in Charleston, South Carolina, Bermuda, Punta Delgada in the Azores, and Reykjavik, Iceland before we head back to Portland to clear customs. About 176 students on board and 45 professional crew. That includes our stewards, who are the most important people on board. They keep us fed. And it also includes some medical support, IT support, and the ship's crew that actually run the ship while the students learn. So it's great for me to be back on board as master after having graduated here 22 years ago, and things have kind of come full circle. While I've lived here in Castine since I graduated, being back in the academy family full time is a real gift. Working with these young men and women is fantastic. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had. So this ship that we have now has been here since 1997. I actually did my senior cruise on board in 2000 as a student, and of course now I'm back here as captain. This ship was originally a Navy oceanographic research vessel. Did very high grade oceanographic survey and charting work. Built in 1990, it was decommissioned not long after due to an engine casualty. 1996, it was transferred to the Maritime Administration, and the conversion into a training ship was started. And it's been here at Maine Maritime Academy since 1997. This will be one of the last cruises for this ship. Hopefully, by the 2025 cruise, we will have a brand new purpose-built training vessel to use, the National Security Multi-Mission Vessel, which is being built in Philadelphia as part of a fleet of 5 purpose-built training ships. We get the third of the 5, the first being for New York, and the second one will be going to Massachusetts. All the alarms that you hear in the background here, we're up on the bridge of the training ship, and these are all related to our navigation systems. We're currently grooming those and getting them just right before we head out on cruise. it. Slowly moving forward.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.